Don't know what the hell they have in it. See them bending like a little mouse, bending very low to peep in it. Some say they have the papude, that's why they just bend and the gole. Shango is part of our culture, beating at the drum come from Africa. I don't care what nobody say, I'm dancing in the Shango band from today. Iman Shalewa, Babawa, Shango, 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 Orila, Iman Shalewa, Babawa, Shango, 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 Shashara, Iman Shalewa, Babawa, Shango, Shango, why, Shango, Shango, why, Shango, Shango, why, that was the Shango's cry. Shango! Shango, Shango, Babawa, 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 Shango, Shango, Woy, Shango, Shango, Woy, Shango, Shango, Woy, Shango, Shango, Woy, Shango, Shango, Babawa.
And a good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it's time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott, here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Talking Points is on.
As yet, but have no fear.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to start it like that when it's one of them kind of days. You understand? Yeah.
In this world, to live up to your...
Good night to all of you joining us via We Noise Radio 94.9 out there in Brooklyn. Good night to you, Wade. Good night to the entire We Noise Radio family. We make the noise, eh?
No obligation. No one knows me.
Special good night to my kiddies. Yeah, all those children. Let me say good night to you, Zayla and Zoe and Azalea and Neela and Namara, Deshaun. Good night to each of you. Yeah?
I am that I am.
Zoe, good night.
I am that I am.
Yes, folks, we've got a lot to go through tonight. And a limited amount of time to go through it, yeah.
Serious business. There is a time for...
Folks, what I want to do is within the next 3 or so minutes, I'm going to play a part of the presentation, the excellent, wonderful, explanatory presentation that was done by Leader of His Majesty's Opposition, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Remember, he has been a former Minister of Finance of the Year. I ain't see they talking about the other people as minister. They ain't even been running to become worst Minister of Finance of the Year, right? That would kind of be embarrassment to worse because they're worse than that, right? Yeah, so I didn't even see that. We also, in fact, here's what. Let me get into it. Let me pull up part of the presentation by Dr. Mitchell, because one of them is going to take a few minutes to go through, and then we're going to have some discussions on it. The other one is going to take, this first one is going to take, and believe me, I believe it is necessary to play it. And that is why I'm going to play this part of the presentation of Dr. Mitchell. It's roughly 14 minutes long, but it is important that you listen carefully to what Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell had to say this morning, because a lot of stuff has been said over the past few weeks. In fact, over the past few days, a lot has been said in relation to that increase for parliamentarians and so. I want you all to listen carefully to what Dr. Mitchell is saying and what he said at Parliament this morning. So let me just get, let me see, which one am I going to use to play it? Yeah, sometimes you have to decide which one. Nice, yes. So let me get that up for you, because I want you all to hear clearly what it is that he had to say. And I want you all to be able to have a discussion with me immediately after in relation to what it is he has said. So we're going to go into that about now. Let me just get it here. Come on, behave yourself. Out of the way. Nice. And okay. Yeah, I think I've got it here. Nice.
The government helping themselves at the expense of the state is a deceptive approach taken by this government to increase their own incomes. Note I didn't say salary, incomes. Mr. Speaker, let me make it clear. I register my comments not just as a voice in the political arena, but as a fellow citizen deeply concerned about the direction our beloved nation is taking. As someone who believes in fair and equitable treatment, I am not opposed to parliamentarians receiving a salary or income increase. Make it clear. I have been on record of saying this. But Mr. Speaker, members of the NNP government and this team can testify whenever this discussion came up, timing, independence of the process, and the amounts were always key points of concern. As a matter of fact, the current government has a 2/3 majority largely because of the desire for more money. On the issue of independence of the process, the new National Party in government, with a 15-seat majority, Mr. Speaker, did not arbitrarily sit in cabinet and decide to increase the income of its members. We did not. We commissioned an independent committee in 2018 to review the salaries of parliamentarians and ministers. And we did so in the 90s when there was the same decision to increase. We did not sit there and appoint ourselves to do what we think and give ourselves what we think we should get. The established committee was made up of sector experts, some of whom are well-known sympathizers of the National Democratic Congress. I don't think there was anyone in that committee, it could be checked, who were known to be a sympathizer of the New National Party. And I just named Henry Joseph, who was also for years the treasurer of the New National Party, and he was named chairman. The National Democratic Congress. Henry would be mad with me, because you never want to be associated with NMP. He was chairman, appointed chairman, and he was the treasurer also. And many other members. I wouldn't waste the time to call the other members' names. They recommended some increases, Mr. Speaker. And if you go through what they recommended, even then, and you add inflation, Mr. Speaker, if you go through all of that, it will never come up. It will never come up. I have details of the percentage, but I will not go through that list. It will never come up. I heard people trying to justify that what they came up with would equate to what the government has now decided to give itself. Total falsehood, Mr. Speaker. The numbers do not lie. The numbers are there, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the report was presented for review and a wider consultation in 2019, Mr. Speaker. Of course, it was not available to be incorporated in the 2020 budget cycle. It could have come into supplementary budget, yes, but Mr. Speaker, COVID-19 struck, and the emphasis was not doing things for self, the perception of the population. It was about, Mr. Speaker, taking care of the needs of the people of our land, Mr. Speaker. So we suffer ourselves for the benefit of the population. Therefore, I stand by my previous statements and I strongly maintain my views on this issue, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister claims that he has power and he knows how to use it with a stroke of a pen. So the stroke of a pen, the salaries of ministers were increased. Stroke of a pen. Use power, man. Use it. You get it? Use it. The former government, NDC government head and his team did not know how to use it. I will show them how to use power. I have it. Use it. People use power for all kinds of things, Mr. Speaker. You see it all over the world. To brutalize their citizens. To justify killing babies. That's what they use power for, some. They use power to hurt people, to victimize people, to destroy people's career. It happens all over the world. Power. You must know how to use power. Not for yourself and those you like, but the interests of the people of your beloved land, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this government has deceptively increased its income and sought the House Committee of Parliament. And they try to use the House Committee irresponsibly, Mr. Speaker. Don't try that. Don't try it. You will be called out. Remember who's on this side. The whole team. Mr. Speaker, listen to this. The required process should have been, after an independent committee was established to look at the salaries, the required process should have been for income increase for parliamentarians. That is to form part of the budget. It should first come to the budget committee, after the independent committee, made this recommendation for ratification, and then to the Finance Committee meeting for ultimate approval when the budget is sent, therefore, to the House. That's the process. The income increases, Mr. Speaker, were in the estimate of expenditure that went to the Finance Committee on November 13, 2022, before the House Committee met. Don't try that. After it was already decided by the Finance Committee, what game, Mr. Speaker, is this members playing? Use the House Committee. And every announcement, Mr. Speaker, gets to. And members, Clarice Modeste Cohen and Eminent Pear were members of that committee. That committee's decision was null and void because the Finance Committee already made its decision. And the legal authority says that it goes from Finance Committee to the House. No changes can be made after that, unless you have maybe a special sitting of the Finance Committee. Don't try it. It is important to note that no adjustment could be made to the finance estimate of expenditure and so on after that, Mr. Speaker. Notwithstanding a lack of understanding of parliamentary proceedings, the Finance Committee, which was attended by all members of the government side, approved the following income increases under the Parliamentary Allocation Expenditure Vote 2. All ministers who are members of the House of Representatives or MPs, except the Prime Minister, will receive a 60% increase. Mr. Speaker, $60,000 increase, Mr. Speaker. Overnight, they themselves decided what they should get per year. And this is in addition to the $2,000 they took for themselves. So within a year and a half, their salaries increased by $84,000, Mr. Speaker. And almost all of it, Mr. Speaker, goes without tax because it came under the section called allowances. Mr. Speaker, you see the selfishness? Allowances, no tax. Mr. Speaker, let me make it clear. The members of Parliament who are not members of the government, they get $5,000. That's what I get, and that's what all of them get. I have no problem with that. If somebody want to criticize me for that, I feel they deserve it, because I was on record of noting that it's not fair that the salaries given to those persons was as little as they were. So that $5,000, I am not, although the process was bad, I still support the $5,000 for the members of Parliament who are not ministers of government. Therefore, it means that the ministers of government who are members of the House of Representatives, in addition to the $3,000 they get on their salaries, will now get an $87,000 increase. Over 106%, even before they settle down to do any serious work in this country, except travel. Bringing the total income of ministers of government, Mr. Speaker, here the number. Despite outside of telephone and internet allowances and so on, the total a minister would get would be $169,687. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. While the members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, get the same $5,000, and they have the same responsibility in some cases in terms of meeting the constituents' needs, and they know the challenges that they will get, because every day people come looking for something. So you have a lot. I say to the people, they're getting a lot of money. So you should have no problem coming to people like me. You know where to go, Mr. Speaker. Similarly, the Parliament has allocated $42,000 increase for ministers who are senators. And that's added to the $24,000 that they were receiving before, and the extra $3,000 ministers get. So the total income has jumped by $71,000. Senators, Mr. Speaker, are happy for you. Now we'll get, as ministers, $153,000, $153,687, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, none of the previously mentioned adjustment affects the Prime Minister. But the Prime Minister increased his salary by $13,000 per year, bringing his income to $105,218. This does not take into consideration the $246,000 paid for rental of the Prime Minister's residence, which brings his total compensation package, not considering telephone, internet, entertainment, and so on, to $351,218. You see, this former Prime Minister of 23 years stayed at Mount Royal. It was a home. The taxpayers did not have to pay a cent. I heard someone saying that the government was paying for my home, my house. Tell them stop lying, Mr. Speaker, through you. And I'm not talking to members of this house that said it. It was said outside by some of the party hawks on radio and talk shows. That is false. Just say this. As Prime Minister, therefore, I received $90,000 max, and it was taxed, Mr. Speaker. Get it right. It was taxed. Mr. Speaker, the percentage increases that this government sat in a room and gave themselves in less than 2 years in office, while the people of Grenada was grappling with rising costs and hopelessness, is frightening. Mr. Speaker, I am really saddened. As I said, today was not the day for me to come speak on these issues. I would much prefer another day, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, what is even more frightening, this government came to this house less than a month ago and repealed the Fiscal Responsibility Act and replaced it with the Fiscal Resilience Act. They must change a word. Which saw the amendment to the wage bill move from 9% to 13%. Because they knew what they were planning in the budget. So they had to change the fiscal rule. Otherwise, they would be breaking the law. We didn't know that then, but we know it now. The leader of government business, when presenting the bill, lamented the government's interest in providing increases to the workers. He was talking about workers. He did not say anything about himself or other members. However, deceptively, the amendment was made. Listen when it was made, Mr. Speaker. After the public workers were locked into a 3-year increase. But just before the budget to accommodate the increase provided to ministers, in other words, they had to use the fiscal limit in the negotiation with public workers and say, well, you can't expect me to break the law. So they waited, finished the negotiation, and then the increases came, Mr. Speaker.
So yes, indeed, folks. I just wanted you all to hear that, because I wanted you all to get an idea of exactly how manipulative, this present administration is. So you realize what they have done. I hope you all understand. I will be taking your calls. The phone lines are open. You can call. Now, in order to give themselves the pay raise, if they were giving themselves that salary increase, for instance, in the case of ministers, they are getting a 106% increase. Public workers will get for this year 4% or something like that. But the government ministers, probably they believe they've performed better than you, or they've done better than you, or whatever it is. But on what they have taken, they are receiving a 106% salary increase. But they could not take that increase officially before, because it would have driven, remember, under the Fiscal Responsibility Act, it was pegged, wages were pegged And if they had taken that increase before, it would have driven the number up not to 9%, but to 9.7%. So they would have been in breach of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. So as Dr. Mitchell just explained, what they did is they ensured that a complete negotiation with all the unions. Remember, the Public Workers Union was holding out. Teachers went and they signed early. Yeah? Other minor unions that you had there went and signed early. The police, their representatives went and signed early up. But the Public Workers Union was holding out for a better deal. But now they've realized what really has taken place. So this government, knowing full well that they're going and increase their salary, made the provision for it after they have concluded and signed an agreement with the Public Workers Union. Because they know that the Public Workers Union and the other unions would have been able to say, hey, no, you have enough room under the Fiscal Responsibility Act that you can go over the then 9%. So instead of that, they pushed, because remember they had all kind of people calling Mr. Grimes and his team all kind of names, accusing them of all sorts of things. Yeah, I don't have to defend them. They could defend themselves. But they had people out there saying all kind of thing about them to push them, to force them to come to the table and sign the agreement. Oh, teachers getting the money already and this one getting the money already and we ain't getting. So they push. So Mr. Grimes went and he signed. What happened after that? You saw them coming and changing now, within the last 60 days or so, changing the Fiscal Responsibility Act, and the same way that they're about to change the name of the Imani program, the same way they're about to change the name of all the youth programs, because that's all they're good at. They can't create something new, but they could change the name on what exists and try to operate it. Yeah? So they changed the name from the Fiscal Responsibility Act because, as somebody was explaining to me yesterday over the phone, they said, you realize they changed it from responsibility so they don't have to be responsible again. And they put it as resilient, which is something, a different concept to being responsible. Responsible is one thing, get the dictionary meaning. Resilient is something else. So when they changed it from the Fiscal Responsibility Act to the Fiscal Resilience Act, it said where their mindset was. So they have moved it now from the 9% up to 13% to give themselves the room, to give themselves the increase that they've gotten. And Public Workers Union, the Royal Grenada Police Force and Prison Services, because they usually come as a unit, yeah, and all the other bargaining units on behalf of public workers in the state of Grenada cannot go back to government for 3 years, really, because that's when the other negotiation cycle takes place. Well, they wouldn't have to wait until the end of the 3 years. They could start early. But as it is right now, they're locked in to the percentage for 2023, 2024. I believe 2025, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, 2023, 2024, 2025. There was an agreed amount. Yeah. So they are locked into that agreement already. Meanwhile, while you gain your little 4%, the ministers give themselves 106% increase. And they changed the law to allow themselves to get that increase. They didn't change the law for public workers, for police, for nurses, for the ambulance drivers, whoever. They didn't change the law for them to get an increase, They changed the law for themselves to get the increase. Yeah? And then, how did they give themselves the increase? They gave themselves the increases nearly tax-free, because you cannot tax allowances. So the 5,000 that MPs, parliamentarians are going to get, you can't tax it. It's an allowance. The travel allowance that they took last year, you can't tax it. It's an allowance. So nearly every cent that they've taken, all the money that they have taken, they take it in a format that they do not have to pay a cent tax on it. Understand what is taking place here. On the half month, these individuals will be earning a little more on the half month payment. In other words, their half month payment in January is going to look exactly like a full month's payment last year. Meanwhile, how yours looking? Especially if we're going into Christmas, how yours looking? And then, because they went into the ministerial complex on Tuesday and they realized they was getting cut-eye, cross-eye, twist-eye, all kind of thing they was getting, ministers passing and all the hearing is stoops behind them, people sucking teeth, all over the hearing it. They realized trouble, boy. And then they realized some of the people who usually sing their praises are extremely upset over that salary issue. So they decided, knee-jerk reaction. They're afraid. So they run inside cabinet and they say, well, what we could do. Give them a 25%. So the public workers who heard it early started thinking, well, yeah, they're going to give us a 25% on the gross amount on our basic salary for the year. So it may mean we're going home with a couple $1,000. That would be nice. Only to realize that they are giving the 25% on 1 month's salary, only the basic salary, and they are taxing it. They're not taxing themselves, you know. All how they're taking money, travel allowance and parliamentary allowance, all these areas. They are doing it in ways that they don't have to pay a single cent tax on. That is money in their pocket that they can use to do whatever they want. Yeah? So they, in fact, remember they talk about the travel allowance last year and they say, oh, you could use it to pay drivers and so on. Check the budget document. The drivers of each of those ministries, the ministers, and I'm talking here about the members of parliament, not the senators, the drivers for each of them are paid by and covered under the parliament. So they did not get no money to pay driver because the drivers are paid for and are covered by the parliament. Once you run for election and you win your seat, whether you're in government or you're out of government, the parliament pays for a driver for you. So to say that they got the $2,000 to pay a driver is untrue, is a lie. Because this is not something that just started. This is how it has been ever since I remember that once you have won your seat, the parliament would pay for a driver for you. Right? So to give the impression that that's so, and then they're not paying any tax on the money that they took onto their salaries last year. And Dr. Mitchell is making the point that, hey, taking salaries is one thing, but it is the methodology in which you're taking that salary increase. You didn't set up a committee and say, well, let's look at wages, let's look at salaries and different kind of things and get a proper report. It was basically by a lash a pen and a cabinet. You decide what you're going to do. And you just use the finance committee and the house committee to rubber stamp it. But you already decided that is what you're doing and that is what you're doing. And nothing anybody out here is going to say right now is going to change their mind in relation to it. They've decided that that is what they want and that's what they want. And then, to do it, they have decided, and I heard Jenny speaking about that. Those of you that haven't seen Simon Says today, make sure you go and watch Auntie Jenny program. If you haven't watched it yet, I always tell all you that make sure you watch Auntie Jenny program. Nice, because Auntie Jenny don't take no prisoners. Even if I had to get licks again, it too. And I'm still telling you, watch Auntie Jenny program. Yeah, that's one thing I like about her. She ain't care. She getting everybody licks. Now, what they did to try and cover themselves is that they did it in a way and say, okay, we're giving all MPs. So we're giving Dr. Mitchell, we're giving Eminent Pierre, no, but they are giving them just the parliamentary allowance, the 5,000. Right? And let me explain something before too. When I was in the Senate, I did not receive a parliamentary allowance. Let me repeat, because I want people to understand what I'm saying here. At the point in time I entered the Senate, it was myself, Senator Garway, Senator Simon Steele, the late Senator Emmons, Senator Brenda Hood, and Senator Kenny Lal Singh. I seem to be forgetting someone in the midst there. But yes, one thing is that you had either you're a parliamentary secretary or a minister. You received that salary, but you did not receive the parliamentary stipend that's there for senators. So only the members of parliament that were not government ministers received the stipend. Whether it was 800 or 1,000, I wouldn't know because I never received it. I'm not saying that I should have received it. I'm saying the protocol was that if you have a government portfolio as a senator, then you would receive that salary and you would not receive the stipend under parliament. So all the other senators, they would receive their stipend, but government ministers would not. In the new format, what they're doing here, they are going to be paying the senators who are government ministers the new stipend that's introduced. And I'm interested in knowing if they have also been paying them the parliamentary stipend over the past 18 or 19 months or how much they've been in. I'm interested in knowing. Because it would mean, well, they've already announced that they're getting it. So they're getting an additional $3,500, yeah, to their salary, together with the $2,000 that they got last year. And remember, they're not paying a cent tax on that. So come January, when they receive their first bi-monthly payment, their first bi-monthly payment will be nearly equal to what they were receiving before bi-monthly payments at the end of a month. You all understand what I'm saying? Yeah? So while the rest of you are on bi-monthly and your salary has been chopped in two, they decided that now we salary being chopped in two ain't good. So they've decided to double the salary so that at the end of the fortnight or the bi-month, however you want to put it, that they will be receiving basically the same salary that they were receiving before bi-monthly on the half month. Yeah? So anyway, the phone lines are open, 440-7377. And let me say a special good night to those folks out there in River Sally. Yeah, I know it has been a sad day for you. Showers of blessing did come down. It has been a sad day for you all. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it. I was unable to make it up to River Sally. I know it has somebody with a thing of oil long up there for me, but I was unable to make it today. All right, but don't worry, I'll go make it up to all you. All you know me and River Sally. We go make it up. All right, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Yeah, and understand something as well, huh? When the Minister of Finance spoke, he also spoke to an additional, outside of this money, so outside of the 5,000 that members of parliament, in other words, parliamentary representatives, the people that were on a ballot and won their seat and are sitting in the House of Representatives, the same chamber as Dr. Mitchell. All of those individuals now are going to be afforded a $10,000 outside all this money we just speak about. This hasn't been spoken about. Outside of that, there are plans to also give them on top of that a $10,000 per constituency. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one, but we'll come back to that. We've got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How going on, boy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Kirill.
Yeah, man. Hey, Papa. I know when I hear you, man.
Yeah, they home there, and not that well, but I mean, I got better, but you know, I was down for a while.
Yes, I realize.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
dear, man.
I like that tune you play, that song you play all before you come on there, man. I would like to get that.
Well, you know, I could just get the lady it. You have a CD player, or how you want it? How would you like to get it? No, just asking because
how you have it?
No, how you want it, I'll get it to you that way. Well, here's what. I know who to...
Anyhow you could get it, you gotta get it from me.
Yeah, hear what? I know who to talk to. When I see her, I will talk to her and I'll go organize.
You could talk to my madam, you know?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I know who to talk to, so when I see her, I will talk to her and we go organize between ourselves. I'll look for her in the morning. I know where to look for her.
Okay.
All right,
I
my brother.
listen to you, man. Every night I listen to you, man. Every night.
All right, wonderful, my brother.
I was watching the doctor there, man.
Yes.
Perform heavy.
He was in excellent form.
Yeah, man. He had them busy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was watching the funeral too. It was good.
Yeah. A bit sad, but you
Well,
know.
yeah, take care.
All right, bro. Thanks. Yeah, that's my good buddy Tyrell. You know that Tyrell has been a caller and everything to the program, to various programs since about 2010, 2011. I think, yeah, Tyrell used to call program. Yeah, every now and again, I always shout out Tyrell during that time. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. 440-7377. And for those of you in the US, 347-329-3101. So as I was saying to you all, outside of all the increases that we've spoken about there is also coming, additional to that, a $10,000 constituency fund. All they speak about there is not the constituency fund. Yeah? They've spoken about increasing the salary of parliamentarians. Right? Now they're also speaking about a constituency fund of $10,000 that they're going to put into the constituency and that sort of thing. In the context of parliamentarians, for instance, the 5 parliamentarians, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, Honorable Emlyn Pear, Honorable Peter David, Honorable Clarice Modest-Cohen, Honorable Kate Skeeter-Lewis. These individuals are parliamentarians, yet still, within their constituency, you have usurpers who are there and who control what is going on in the constituency. For instance, the people of St. George Northwest voted for Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell to be their parliamentary representative. Yet you have LACO who have office up there, and seed officers not reporting to Dr. Mitchell, who is the parliamentary representative. They're reporting to LACO, who should be gone by now, but they're reporting to LACO. Yeah? So you have also the situation in St. George, where you have Honorable Peter David is the member of parliament, but the seed officers and all the other people in housing and so on, they are not reporting to the Honorable Peter David. They're reporting to Senator Claudette Joseph. That's who they're reporting to. That's who is making the decisions for the town of St. George, even though Honorable Peter David is the individual who the majority of people, again, in the town of St. George voted for. Even worse, in St. Andrew Northeast, you have a situation where somebody that's not even in parliament, they're not even a senator or anything, yet still that's who seed officers and all kind of people reporting to. That individual is not even holding a government portfolio as far as we know. All kind of things that's happened with this administration. But as far as we know, that individual is not even holding, what's the name again? I'm sincere. Isn't even holding a parliamentary portfolio. Yet still, who are the seed officers speaking to? Who are the housing officers speaking to? Who are people checking when they want to get something done in the constituency? And this individual is not holding a portfolio. So, and I see that as massive disrespect to the people of St. Andrew Northeast, that such a thing happens and is allowed to happen. So now you're hearing, outside of all these increases, you're also hearing of another $10,000 to be put onto the salaries of these individuals as well. Yeah? Again, folks, 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside. And I want to play another one for you from Dr. Mitchell's presentation this morning. Yeah? I want to play another one for you. Let me just see if I can get it here. All right. Yeah, I think I have it ready here.
Some key areas of concern affecting the Grenadian people in this budget cycle. They did not fail to address the needs for themselves, Mr. Speaker. Having recognized the key areas of deficiencies in the pillars of transformation, it is important to evaluate the areas where the increased recurrent funds were allocated for spending, and that it was self-serving, Notwithstanding a 31% increased allocation for pension and debt, which are mandatory expenses, it is evident that the government have prioritized most of the increased spending and party loyalists and themselves, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the travel budget of the government has increased by 115% in 2024. Who is it meant to help? The poor people? And it was increased from 2022 to 2023 also. It is no secret that this government runs Grenada from the clouds, Mr. Speaker. Today, the people of Grenada have not seen any tangible benefits from those rendezvous. With an increase in the travel budget for 24, we can only hope that Grenada will benefit beyond the pictures, the videos, the sound bites, the social media pieces cut off, Instagram, and all this, Mr. Speaker. And also, statements on GIS which has become almost a political party station government, Mr. Speaker. I see things on GIS I never saw before. Mr. Speaker, the budgetary allocation for the Ministry of National Security, Home Affairs and Public Administration Information moved from 4 million to 37. A $33 million increase, 825% increase, 825%. This increase is largely attributed to a $27 million allocation for the provision of security contracts to companies of which we can assume are aligned with the National Democratic Congress, since a lot of the hard-working people who were not perceived to be aligned when they came in, they did not renew their contracts. Mr. Speaker, the value of these contracts shows the budget has increased that portion by 41%. Mr. Speaker, I am concerned, and I make a special appeal, therefore, to the people of Grenada to pay particular attention to this development.
Yes, indeed, folks. 440-7377. I realize I'll be afraid to call on this one tonight. But let's say this, what Dr. Mitchell has just been speaking about is significant. The travel budget. Remember, we've been asking, over the past few months, we've been asking how much has government been spending on travel. But they have increased the amount of money that was under the budget for travel, jump in plane and go in and come. They have increased that budget by 115%. Yeah? Let me say it again. Not by 1%, 2%, or 3%. They have increased the travel budget by 115%. So every minute you realize a minister on a flight, a minister here, you're looking for a minister in the constituency, better look in Dubai. We have a call on the line. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hi, good night. Yes, you're live, caller. Go right ahead. You're live.
Yes, sir. By these people and them wicked boy. Whoa. And to give these people and them a little increase, a 25%. You have to give them all kind of talk and telling them that you don't have no Santa Claus, don't look for that, don't look for this. And why this government wicked. Grenadians, I'm talking to you all tonight. Let us get up and get rid of these people. These people are a waste of time. They are moppers. They come to kill us. The poor people in Grenada are suffering. Business, I walk into 5 stores today, and each and every one of them are bawling. For us Grenadians, get up and get. We have to get rid of this wicked government. They like nobody. You listen to Dr. Mitchell today? I listen to that man. And he explained everything. He explained everything. Let us get rid of these wicked suckers and them. They're good.
Careful with the language now. Careful with the language now. Yeah. All right, bro. Yeah, careful with your language. Yeah, even though you didn't say the, yeah, but careful. Right. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, that's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, so they've increased the travel budget. So probably they believe that they have not traveled enough. And even with all of the complaints from the constituents who have been complaining that they can't see the MP. The only way that they see the MP is on social media with a photograph, most likely in the Middle East, most likely in Dubai, but sometimes other places. So that's the only way that generally they get to see their member of parliament. And they've been complaining they haven't been seeing them. Within the ministries, you're having various deficiencies within the ministries, not because, as they are claiming now, and you hear the Minister of Finance berating the public workers, not because of the public workers, but because of policy direction and guidance that ministers are supposed to give, but the ministers are not there. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. You go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I need you to help me get some clarification with the $120,000. $120,000.
That ministers will be going home with on a yearly basis.
Huh?
I think it's more than that. I think you're talking about senators. I think the ministers going home with slightly more than 106%. I'll calculate it just now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, yeah. I suspected that it was monies that was going into the hands of the MPs. I'm trying to wrap my head around how that money would get to the people, because I'm hearing it is for servicing the constituency.
But which money is for servicing the constituency? Because again, for each of the MPs that have a constituency, which are the parliamentary reps, the 5,000 is their allowance.
Well, no, that's not correct.
But that's what they're saying.
If you have to take what the Minister of Finance, if you take what the Minister of Finance said when he spoke to the 5,000, he said this was to service the constituency. That's 5,000.
You know that
enough, man. 10,000. So it's 15,000 altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It's 15,000 altogether.
And they're planning a further 10 on top of that, eh? That is what was discussed recently at the House Committee. They're talking about a further 10,000 on top of that.
Well, so if a constituent needs assistance, they can tell the MP, look, you're getting $15,000 a month to help me.
Hold on, the MP, if the MP is a government minister, not Paul Lemlin and them.
MPs I'm talking about. MPs I'm talking about.
No, I'm telling you what, but you see, you have to clarify. When you're saying MPs in this instance getting that kind of money, you're not speaking to the opposition MPs. They're not getting that.
The opposition MPs will be getting 5,000.
Right, so that's why I'm being specific.
And the 120,000, they're supposed to get 10,000 too. That's how I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that the 10,000 is only for government.
No, the 10.
MPs.
Yeah, you're correct. The 10,000 is across the board. Yeah,
it's across the board. So all MPs would have 15,000 at their disposal to assist the constituents. My concern, I think the 5,000 is a salary, right? is not to help anybody. That's my own thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The 10,000 probably is what would be used to help. But my concern is, how would they determine how that 10,000 per month will be spent? We have a number of social programs.
I was listening.
That's supposed to be used to help the constituents, right?
Well, hold on, I was listening. I'm trying to remember if it was the minister during the press conference or during the budget itself, where he was saying that they have to work on a mechanism regarding this. So whether it's
accountability,
whether it's a checkbook they're going to give them with signed checks or whatever it is. But I remember there was something in relation to that. But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess he just said that. But I think the mechanism is more for accountability to ensure that. So if Jack wants a stove, right, and the stove is $500, then a billhead would be, I suspect a billhead will have to come to the MP so he can show that $500 was spent for this. But he has to account for the 10,000. Right? Anybody can make a bill. Anybody can ask for an invoice. So it will be interesting to see how this is policed. But like I said, my concern is, I'm not sure. I don't have a problem with the 5,000 as an allowance.
No, I don't have a problem with it, no.
Servicing your people, right? I have a concern over this 10,000 that you're putting in MP's hands to give out to people. Just imagine what's going to happen when an election is close, right?
But my friend,
Just
remember, around the time of the 2018 general election, there was a particular parliamentarian who took somebody on the NDC side that was running for office. They took them to court in relation to allegations that New National Party MPs were getting $10,000 to spend.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, there's a parliamentarian who is no longer on the NNP side who took a then NDC candidate to court on that. I don't know if the case ever called. I know the case go with that. But anyhow, because that didn't exist before.
Yeah, so I don't, like I said, that's my concern. That this $10,000 can be misused. That's my big concern. Like I said, the 5,000 to the MPs, I think we should consider it as a wage, a salary for being an MP. You have things to do, you have places to go, you have people to meet. That's what that 5,000 is for. I don't see it being used to give anybody anything. The 10,000 is what to be used, but I just have some concern over that.
But again, my friend, as it is right now, as I was explaining earlier, in different constituencies where you have a New National Party representative, the NDC has representatives in there who the people who are dealing with social services, etc., are going to. These are the people that people are going to, and they are using the government resources now to deal with these people, either be through social services or be it building materials, and so through the housing program, etc. They are dealing with these people using the government programs, which is something that the New National Party MPs in the constituencies don't have. So if I had to go to somebody who getting this money, guess who are going to?
Yes, that's true.
I'm not going to the NNP person. No, I'm not going to them.
Yeah, I want to switch quickly to the whole question of regularization. In the finance minister's speech, he gave 3 categories of regularization. I don't know if people paid attention to it. The first 300 would be done by the end of this month. The next 1756, I think, would be done by the end of 2024. And the 3,005 plus will be done 2025. It's very interesting, the breakdown. And then the 3,005 plus are the Imanis. So the Imanis are in the last group, just before the election, just around election time. That's when they will be regularizing quotation. And it's interesting because we're not reminding these guys of the promise to regularize, right? We're not reminding them. And now they would get away with this because they'll see it's in our budget. But look at the spaces. 2023, 2024, 2025. Like I said, the Imanis are in the last group.
But did you hear the part that Dr. Mitchell spoke about that? Because I'm going through his speech, the written version, going through the speech, because I know sometimes you ad-lib and so. It speaks, and let me read this section for you. Mr. Speaker, Minister of Finance announced that 300 public sector workers would be regularized by the year-end 2023. However, according to the manpower summary of 2022 and 2023, the government can only accommodate 87 workers on the permanent establishment of the public service. So the document says different. The information is in Appendix 1 of the Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure. The minister went on to announce the regularization of 1,754 workers in 2024. But again, based on the manpower summary in the Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure, the government can only accommodate 81 workers on the permanent establishment of the public service. So what do you think going to happen there?
Well,
Contract again?
well, you see, they can always point to the second cohort is by December 2024. So the 11 months would pass without regularization. Like as is happening right now, 18 months pass without regularization, and they're doing 300 by the end of this year, right? So the same thing is going to happen, and the same thing is going to happen in 2025.
But
they
again,
under supplementary budgets.
Under their
that's
own,
what they do.
But again, under their own document, under Appendix 1 of the Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure, right? It says that only 87 workers can be accommodated. They said that they're doing it for 300. But their own estimates are saying they can only accommodate 87. So are they going to breach? What are they going to do? And then for next year, it says 81, but they're saying that they're going to regularize, not take off, not place on contract or a different contract or something, regularize 1,754. So either they're doing something different to what they're writing.
Yeah.
They're doing something totally, because they're telling you one, but the document that they're presenting in Parliament right now says something way different. I mean, there's a chasm of difference between 300 and 87, and an even bigger chasm between 1,754 and 81. You need to get your hands on the document, my brother.
Well, anyway. So, you know, I'm just saying that we have to pay close attention to this, because promises are made, promises are broken. And Grenadians have to be reminded that what they were told is not what's happening. But that's the hour of the day. This administration is proving that, you know, they said things that they knew they couldn't do and they wouldn't do. But Grenadians are prepared to give them a free pass. And it's unfortunate that people are at a stage now where they're not even reasoning. They blank their heads off. In fact, I mean, anytime anybody asks a question, I'm not talking about criticizing, but you ask a question, and people perceive that the answer might be showing up the government, they attack you. They attack you. That's a simple question. And they politicize everything. I mean, that's where we are in Grenada right now. But the thing is, eventually, the scales will fall off people's eyes, and they'll see the real McCoy. They'll see exactly who these guys are. And last thing before I go, I was telling my son today, those guys who have gone into major expenses, right, and are now seeing that chances of having that second term, which they thought they would have had right after the election, they're seeing that they don't have 5 years to pay the debt. They don't have 10 years to pay the debt. Maybe they have only 5. So the doubling of the salaries, what an average of $14,000 a month each minister would get right now? Yeah. I guess they're whispering to each other, guys, let's put aside another 5-year salary, just in case. Well, I know it's not just in case. We know that, you know, Grenadians will wake up sooner rather than later and ensure that a government that cares for the people would rule Grenada. So let's just keep reminding our people that we should not take a shadow. We should hold on to the bone. Have a good night, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Okay. You're welcome.
And folks, you know, even increasing the travel budget by 115%. So it means that even though we weren't seeing them now Selfie ain't seeing them because they're going and travel double as much. Because if you put it at that means you're hardly going to be in Grenada. Yeah? Because I'm still trying to find out the reasoning behind bringing your travel budget up by 115%. Not 10%, not 5%, not 20%. You increase your travel budget by 150%. Basically, just buy plane and done, you know. But then they say they was going and do that, and then they change their mind, all kind of thing. Yeah, Dr. Mitchell also rose the issue when he was speaking about salaries and what different people are getting. Remember, there's rental being paid for the Prime Minister's residence, where he is right now, not where he ought to be at Mount Royal. Yeah? So that's going to come up. If he's there for 5 years, it's going to come up to roughly 1,230,000, or basically 246,000 per year, just for the rental. And that's just for the rental of the property. That does not include utilities, etc. You heard the clip with Dr. Mitchell a while ago. That does not include things like utilities, etc. That's strictly in relation to rental, as in renting the property itself. All right, so you're speaking about 246,000. What am I saying? 246,000 a year, and over a 5-year period, you're speaking over $1.25 million. You're speaking in relation to rentals, just rentals, not electricity, not water, not internet service, and so on. You're just speaking rentals. And then Dr. Mitchell also spoke to the significant increase in the amount of money under security, as in security contracts and so. And you take two things into context, and it still doesn't explain that significant increase, because even though you have now moved all of the security contracts under the Ministry of National Security, and you factor in the fact that in 2024, you're going to have to increase the base salary of the security officers. Most security officers already working for over that. What you have put in place is a base salary so that none can work for under that particular figure. But most of the security officers already working for over that. So they factored that in. And then again, you know who that money is going to. That money is going to their friends. Yeah, those are the ones with the security contracts. All right, so we have a caller online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hi, good night. How are you?
Everything?
I'm good.
Yeah, brother. Sheldon, I enjoyed myself in Parliament today. As usual, our opposition leader, as usual, did a wonderful job in responding to the budget. And Brother Sheldon, Dr. Mitchell touched all sectors of the budget. He touched about the traveling, health, agriculture, and many sectors. And what I recognize with this government, what they have in the budget document and what they're saying is totally different. It's totally different. Mr. Pate, that's what they're doing. No, they're giving you one thing, right? To let the public hear, oh, that's good. But what they have on paper, the children, is totally different. Right? So you see, this government is a government that deceives. You need to deceive people and lie for people. And but children, when you look at the amount of times this government traveling, and to put again 115% more on the traveling allowance, on traveling, it seems like the minister doesn't want to leave outside grain, and even if they want to solve grain, stay outside grain and solve people grain. Right? Is that what you're looking like? Because they're already traveling so much already. They're out of the country. And they're still adding on more. Right? On the traveling. I'm surprised, Brother Sheldon, when you look at that again, it seems now like this government take this thing for a joke. And it seems like this government purpose and aim is not to solve people, it's to solve themselves, as Dr. Mitchell say. I call this minister, the government as selfish, and only think about itself. Right? And I remember the Prime Minister said that he came here to solve people. How about solving people? When you give the people at $200, but then you have to pay tax. You have to pay tax on it. And you take it for yourself, no tax. So when you give the poor people something in one hand, you're taking taking a portion out of it. Right? So even the workers that we get in the Imani workers, whoever might get a little more money from the government, they got to pay tax. They have to pay tax. Right? The government is talking nothing about how they will cushion the cost of living in the country. They don't talk nothing about that. Right? And what they talk about is themselves and bringing more hardship upon the people of Greater Carriacou Petermatic. It's Grenadians, it's time to look, open your eyes. Open eyes and see what the government is trying to do. What they're trying to do is not to help you, not to help you make your life better, but to make your life more miserable for you. Right? Healthcare in a bad situation. Everything in a bad situation. Cost of living, everything got going up. And government doing nothing. Medication, that I was speaking today. Medication is needed at the general hospital and in the health center through the Greater Carriacou Petermatic. No medication. People doing surgery, right? They have to get medication. No medication, can't get medication. Even they get, and the amount of money they have to pay for the medication. By the time they get the medication, they bring back, the person who have to get medication, they die. But it's time for the government to do what is right. Solve people. You cannot solve people taking away the liquor what they have and giving to those who have already. That is not what a government is supposed to do. A government is supposed to dare to help all. And the government say NMP while in government, they used to help everyone. When you help the poor man help the rich man because more money the poor man have in the hand, it also will benefit the rich person, the business people, because the poor person in any country is the one that will help develop the economy. But when the poor people don't have money in the hand, it will affect the business people in the country. And Brother Sheldon, Christmas is right at the back door. A lot of people don't feel the presence of Christmas because why? They ain't working, they don't have anything. Brother Sheldon, things are bad in the country. And time for Grenada to open the eyes and see.
Okay, caller, because you've said that about 4 times already. Thank you very much. Nice, thank you. Bye. Yeah, when it calls, sometimes you have to the repeating. Yeah, sometimes just to the point, avoid it than repeating the same thing 3 and 4 times. All right, nice. So also, when Dr. Mitchell was speaking today, let me tell you another part of the speech. I don't have the clip with it because, of course, I was doing funeral and everything today, making sure we broadcast it. So I didn't get a complete putting all the clips together. But I have seen the speech. And it says here, Mr. Speaker, what is even worse, at a time when our country is grappling with the clutches of hyperinflation and widespread economic hardship. In other words, let me stop there. In other words, we are grappling with increasing cost of food, increasing cost of medication, increasing cost of services. So you have hyperinflation taking place. We are having to deal with all of these things, right? You have businesses that are complaining. Yeah? You have businesses that are complaining, that are retrenching, right? So anyway, let me start again. What is even worse, at a time when our country is grappling with the clutches of hyperinflation and widespread economic hardship, all income increases, including the $500 giving to nurses, Andy Manny, the $1,000 to doctors, and the 25% one-off ex gratia payment to public officers in December, right, are all subject to tax and increased NIS. Remember, the NIS has to increase as well. So that money, they're going to have to pay NIS and income tax on it. That look a bit that they get the 25% one-off payment. Meanwhile, right, so let me just complete here, which has affected all workers' purchasing power. This government ensured that the 98% of the income increases to themselves. So out of the 106% that the ministers are getting, 98% of that, of the income increases to themselves, are not subject to tax because they are categorized as allowances. The Income Tax Act makes provisions for allowances of parliamentarians to be exempt from taxation. So they didn't say that we increase our salary, because if they increase their salary, they would have to pay income tax on it if they took those increases as salary. Instead, they have taken 98% of that 106% increase that they are getting, they have taken as allowances. Because under the income tax law, unless they want to change it to make that those allowances taxable, and I'm sure they would never do that. The Income Tax Act clearly says that parliamentarians are exempt. The allowances for parliamentarians are exempt from taxation. So if an Imani who is working in the private sector and is receiving the stipend from the Imani program and also receiving a payment from whoever they're working with in the private sector, and they receive that $500 and it takes them above the income tax threshold, those Imani are going to have to pay personal income tax. Imani, going to have to pay it. The nurses have already had that issue since they got that 500 honorarium. They've had to pay personal income tax in instances where they were under the threshold. That 500 has brought them over the threshold. They've got to pay personal income tax. And remember again, I keep forgetting that one, increased NIS payments. The same goes with the doctors. Yeah, the same goes with the $50 duty allowance to the police. They're taxing that. You give the police officers $50 duty allowance, you tax that. Now you give them a 25% ex gratia payment, you tax that. But you gave yourself 106% increase, and 98% of that 106% increase, you are not taxing it. Not a cent. Not even a halfpenny. For those old enough to know what a halfpenny is. Not even a halfpenny. They have to pay in taxes. Yeah? Again, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, and I feel it for the police officers, And I understand because I understand fairness and I understand how police officers feel. I understand how a police officer who has to, in fact, most of them, they're outside working now. You have gun crimes taking place in this country, all kind of things. I ain't hear any talk about, let me get some new police, bulletproof vests for them police, because in case they don't know, bulletproof vests have a lifespan. So I believe in some instances the lifespan is about 5 years, 6 years, and so police vests have a lifespan. The bulletproof vests, yes, they have a lifespan. I ain't hear you talking about getting new vests and all kind of thing for them. I ain't hear you all organizing different things for them. But instead of that, you give them a $50 one way, you're taking tax out of it, you give them a 25% on their basic salary, and now you're taking income tax out of that as well. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Sheldon, a person working for $1,000, they had to pay income tax?
I think you're on the wrong program, and you sure it's this program you want to call?
Sheldon,
yeah, I think you're on the wrong program. I ain't tolerating you and your nonsense. And nobody said a person paying $1,000. We were very clear. Anybody with common sense would understand what we were saying. You ain't coming here and throw off my program tonight. Find a next one. You're in the wrong place, right? Yeah, I think you're in the wrong place. I am not Mr. P and them. I ain't tolerating nonsense. Nice? 440-737, and don't call back. 440-7377. That's the number for you to get on the inside. So as I was saying, the police officers, when we are asleep, they're out. 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. When a murder or any other crime takes place, they have to be the ones on the site. No matter the situation, no matter how gruesome, the police officers have to be there. When you have independence, you want them to march in the hot sun. Yeah? They have to go and put on their tunic and thing and go and march in the hot sun. They have to be the ones, even a hurricane coming, a tropical storm coming, for the police officers to be home securing their family. They have to all be mobilized to go out there and provide security to different facilities around the island. With whatever category storm or so it is coming, they have to go out there and provide security for that. We've got a call online. Good night. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night, caller. Go right ahead. You're live.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
I noticed again last week, the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, their minister, did a live saying that somebody vandalized his vehicle and they throw the cat on the veranda and all kind of things. So he's saying that, he want the police to deal with it and this and that and the other. Well, to my greatest surprise, all the hang gibbet supporters and them find themselves and saying, it's the NNP supporters and NNP this and NNP that and the other. Nobody, not even the one that does be on hide along. Mind you, I say hide along, Not even that one that run him out and say so much a thing, never even come and say, well, I'm so sorry, because it's the minister, their driver, is the one that vandalized his vehicle. And up to today, he could not even come back and do a live. But the thing about it, people from Carriacou and Petit Martinique know this dear minister has a track record.
Hold on,
because
he
damaged all his clothes. He threw bleach.
No,
he cut up all his
caller.
And
Hello. You're not listening me. You're going to put me in legal trouble if you can't prove anything you're saying. Hello.
Told him.
Okay, you ain't hearing me. Sorry, I got to cut it. These people want to shut down this program. Unless you can prove anything that you said there, as true as it may be or may not be, I have to distance myself from it. Because all the driver has to do now is say what you're saying is not true. And if you cannot prove it and I cannot prove it, I am going to face a lawsuit. Yeah? So I'm just trying to protect myself. You could say what you're saying, but you have to know how to say it. And you see, I was trying to talk to you there and you were going on. I know. Because, and I'm sorry, because I know you're upset. So I know that you're speaking there with a certain, but you have to be careful. You can't let upset put you into a situation that you cannot extricate yourself from. Because if somebody can make out your voice and they come and they want to sue, so I have to distance myself from the statements, because while I know of this situation that the now minister, when he was in opposition, he alleged that somebody broke in his building and they poured bleach all over his clothes. I don't have no evidence saying that is him, so I cannot allow the statement to go through, because then the minister, who is one of the people that wants to shut down this program and shut down me in particular bad, could take me to court. So I have to distance myself from the statement now and say that, hey, I find it suspicious that somebody broke in his house and they poured bleach all over his clothes. I find it suspicious that he did a live last week and he was speaking about, understand, I'm not upset with you, I'm just telling you sometimes you don't know how to say things. I saw him do a live last week and speak about he will not be scared because look, they damaged his vehicle and this and so on, and the police are getting involved. Not too long after, I hear the story and I hear that how the police get involved and they solved the crime, but he didn't come out and say anything. So I don't know who are the people that were involved, and if it was a crime in truth, I don't know who was involved and how the vehicle get damaged. So I have to be careful because I could end up facing legal trouble, and I'm just taking the time to explain. I could end up facing legal trouble from the individual that you have said did it, and I could face legal trouble on the other one from the other individual. So I just clear myself. Nice? Thanks. 440-7377. I'm sorry that I had to cut the call. That's what I was trying to stop you so that, but I understand. Yeah, you're into it because the situation is upsetting. I understand. But you have to be careful when you're saying things. 440-7377. That's 440-73. Yeah, because we know bleach, did I say people break in and throw bleach on the thing. Sometimes, I don't know who did it, but I know sometimes human beings can look for sympathy. So if they're looking for sympathy, they could accuse people of doing things. Yeah, because they might feel that they are in such a strong position when they're not, but feel that they're in such a strong position that somebody freed them. So somebody has done these things to them, when in truth and in fact, the opposite may be the actual fact. So just saying, we could talk, but we have to be careful with the thing. Yeah, so as I was telling you all about the police officers, I am concerned about the police officers and what they have to go through. And I don't think I saw anything in budget about pay and grade. We have a situation where we have increasing violent gun crime taking place in our country. Let me repeat that again. We have a situation where we have a significant increase. How many murders have we had by the gun for this year thus far? How many shooting incidents have we had thus far? How many guns have been found in this country thus far? Who had to go and face the people with these guns? It's the same police officers. Yet still, you're not talking pay and grade again. I didn't see anything in the budget in relation to pay and grade. And I didn't see anything there for protection of those police officers and so. Yeah? You're seeing other items. Nice? Yeah. I see your message, my dear. You know I love you. Yeah. So these are the same people that we should be looking after. Instead, every little piece of chunks you give them, you tax it. And then, when police officers are leaving, you try to give the impression, well, it's them that do good that leaving. Listen, we have police officers that leaving right now that have done significant training courses in relation to specialist areas. Yeah? Because over the years, what the Royal Grenada Police Force has done is that they have sent out various officers and they specialize in different areas. Yeah? So you may have different officers who have done specific courses outside of Grenada in relation to various aspects of firefighting. For instance, they may have done courses in relation to firefighting with chemical fires and so on. Right. So you have officers that are within the Royal Grenada Police Force that if that particular need comes up, that officer is versed in it. They find themselves at the location to deal with whatever it is. Right? You have officers that are versed in communication, information communication technology. You have officers that are versed in psychology, in law, in different areas. You have those in anti-terrorism. You have officers within the Royal Grenada Police Force who are trained in relation to things like explosives and so on, and diffusing explosives and different things like that. And you have all these police officers who are within the force right now, and different officers with different capabilities are leaving the Royal Grenada Police Force. And then, because they're doing things in a sort of substandard way, had it not been for the excellent officers doing the training courses right now, we know before when a police officer they're going for what, about 6 months? 5 or 6 months a police officer, the course used to be. It's down to what now, 6 weeks? Why? Because they don't want to pay for those police officers to be at the training facility for that extended period of time. So they have decided that they're going to shorten the course. Will it damage the quality of the officers coming out? We're not sure. We'll find out in due course though. We've got a call online. Good night. Hello?
Just one thing before I leave. Good night.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Right. Let me ask you, Shalom. If I am working for you in a company and you are the manager or the CEO or the chief financial officer and you keep sending me out on company's business, but whenever I go down company's business, I incur expenses more than what you catered for, but yet you are my friend. So what will you do in a case like that? I rest my case.
All right, my brother. He just come get a one-liner and disappear on you. And folks, just to let you all know, we are doing talking points tomorrow night. We will be having tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are having talking points tomorrow night where we'll be doing a synopsis of the budget. Also, during the sitting tomorrow, we will be broadcasting parts. I ain't broadcasting the whole thing. Yes, but I will assist with ensuring that you hear when the members on the opposition benches, when they are present. I'll make sure that you're here, right? You go see we go live them time day to make sure we go live and we go broadcast. Nice? Good. Right? 440-7377 and 440-737-3101. Let me say that again. 440-7377 or 347-329-3101. You can also call us on WhatsApp on 440-7377. Those are the numbers for you to call. Yeah? So you have officers that I know over the past couple of years leaving the police force. Yeah, when I say couple of years, between last year and this year, leaving the police force. You have people who are in the Coast Guard department with specialist training, gone. You have people in the fire department, specialist training, gone. People in SSU and RRU, specialist training, gone. Guys in special branch, traffic branch, all branches, immigration, gone. Yeah? Because some of them say, well, okay, we ain't too sure what going and take place with this pension thing. So we've made the number of years, best I grab my money and go right now. Yeah? That's what some have done. Some have decided that they are feeling unwanted, especially after you had, and remember there was talk of we may be having a second promotion later in the year. Well, this is later in the year and we're still waiting on that promotion. We've got a call online. Good night.
Hello, good night, Shalon.
Hi, good night, my dear.
I don't know if it's true or what. But here the Governor General resigned. Is it true?
I ain't hear anything like that. She was at the funeral this evening.
Oh, okay then. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know when you heard it, but the Governor General was there at the funeral.
I heard it today, but from somebody, but I just want to make sure if it's true or not.
I've been hearing that that particular thing for the last couple months. I've been hearing that talk that the Governor General has resigned, etc., etc. Yeah. If she does resign, I know that she would ensure that all of us are properly informed of such.
Okay,
yeah. Because she's a nice lady.
Okay, then.
Okay, all right, my dear. Yeah, I've been hearing that for not only today, but I've been hearing that for a couple months that she has or she's about to and that sort of thing. But you know something that's interesting as well. If I am calculating correctly, a government minister is now earning more than the Governor General. Yeah, I believe so. A government minister may just be actually earning more than the Governor General right now. So they didn't say they added anything more to the Governor General. Oh, no, they had to check themselves. Yeah, they make sure they set up themselves. Right? 440-7377. Again, yes, remember tomorrow night, hey, good night to you, Alban. Tomorrow night, we will definitely, God's willing, be having talking points. I should be having two guests on with me. I did speak to Mr. Gregory Bowen and Mr. Oliver Joseph to have both of them on with me via Zoom, of course, to have them on with me tomorrow night. So I just had to run some tests today, tonight, make sure everything working okay. Nice. And we should have them on with us tomorrow. All right. So that will be from 8 p.m. We'll be going in depth in relation to various parts of the 2024 budget. And of course, tomorrow night as well, for at least the first half hour, we'll try to do a recap of what has been said during the day tomorrow. Yeah. And you know, one other thing. I was kind of taken aback by the statements made by the Prime Minister this morning at the Parliament building. Now, the Prime Minister is claiming that the opposition never asked for the Parliament sitting on Thursday not to take place. So, the Prime Minister and all the members on his team and all the advisors that they have, not one of them could say it's a bad idea to have a Parliament sitting on the day of our official funeral. None of them had enough sense to tell the Prime Minister, even if he don't have enough sense, because he had to have sense to know that, so you can't accuse them of them thing there. So none of them had enough sense or modicum of sense to be able to say to the Prime Minister, hey, there is an official state funeral taking place on that day. Come on. The person who has died was the former MP for St. Patrick East. The present MP for St. Patrick East is the man who started the ball rolling on the budget debate. He wouldn't be the man ending it, but the man who started the ball rolling on the budget debate. is the MP for St. Patrick East. So he doesn't even have respect for the constituents and for a person who went before him in the position that he holds as MP for that constituency to say to the cabinet, to say to the executive or the NDC, or to say to the cabinet that, hey, that's a bad day to have that activity. So you're coming to blame the NNP? The NNP is not the one setting the dates. You all are the ones that keep changing dates. So initially, the NNP, and I know you all know because you listen to this program religiously, and we had been saying here that Dr. Mitchell would be delivering on Wednesday because that was the understanding that he would be delivering on Wednesday. Only for you all to say then it's Thursday. You all said it's Thursday. You telling me that the Speaker of the House and the parliamentary staff and everybody doesn't know that a official funeral was taking place today? And then you coming to try and blame the NNP. Just admit, Mr. Prime Minister, that Dr. Mitchell's presentation was so on point that you needed a 24 hours to go and rewrite the piece of nonsense you was coming with. Just admit it. Don't try to make it look as though the NNP did something wrong, because Dr. Mitchell tell all you. Honorable Clarice Modest had to stand up and tell you all that no, we had that discussion on Monday, that the funeral was taking place on Thursday. And you all were trying to work out a mechanism. Instead of saying, well, no, that's a bad day. Let's start on Friday, or let's do it on Wednesday, and then we could stay off on Thursday and complete on Friday, because you would need 2 days. So you could have started yesterday, you'd have been halfway through, and then you had today off, and you could have started tomorrow, which would have given you 2 full days to complete. Everybody could complete in that space of time. Yeah? If by chance you needed a or two again, you could have gone to Monday, but you would have completed by then. No, you all just decided you wanted to disrespect. You all are playing all kind of games. You all trying all kind of tricks because you're trying to throw off people. So if it's not to put finance committee meeting on the day that you know Dr. Mitchell has to go to court, not might, not could, that he has to go to court, if it's not putting the finance committee meeting on that day, if it's not putting another meeting that was very important on the House of Representatives on a day that you know he had another court case, or putting him to speak on a day that you know that one of his best friends, one of his political colleagues, one of his parliamentary colleagues, on that day that the person is being buried, you put a sitting on that day and ask him to speak first. Yeah? So you thought that he may have gone there and he may have made some blunders and so on, and then you would have attacked him with what you had written already. But he blasts all you out of the water so much. He exposed so much of the nonsense that you all have put forward to the Grenadian people. He explained a lot of what you all have been doing and didn't want the Grenadian people to know because you feel, well, nobody understands what we do, we could get away with it. But instead of that, no. Yeah? Instead of coming now to come afterwards and talk, you're afraid. Because I had enough to could have go ahead and talk, you know. Nobody could have stopped you. Nobody would stop you. But of course, Dr. Mitchell was gone. And you know the others on the New National Party side would have go too. And then, one thing I'm trying to understand, I know that at the end, when they call for the adjournment, that MPs are allowed to speak on the adjournment. And I saw something in the House today that is not supposed to happen. Because MP Peter David was attempting to speak on the adjournment and you all just ignored him. I don't know why you're afraid. But MP Peter David was trying to talk on the adjournment. And instead of allowing him to talk, what you all did is the speaker just basically tried to shut up Honorable Peter David and call one of the members on the other side to move the adjournment. And as soon as they move the adjournment, somebody just say seconded, and he just slam the gavel and stop the sitting. That's not supposed to happen. The gentleman's light was on and he caught your eye because you did talk to him. Come on, man. If you don't know the parliamentary procedure, ask a question or go read a book. I think we have a caller online. Let me lock them in on the WhatsApp. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Not too bad.
All right, you go right ahead.
I called to congratulate Dr. Mitchell for doing a wonderful job today.
Yes, he did.
You know, I sat down and I listened to that man. That man is a very, very brilliant man. I tell you, if Dr. Mitchell do in this parliament, I don't know how to go on. Because these people in the field could tie up Grenadian. But Dr. Mitchell exposing them. You know? He exposing them. That man do a wonderful job today. And I feel proud of Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to go. We don't want to go. The man is a brilliant man. I love that man. That man good. I tell you, listen to that man, and a lot of majority of my friends and them call me and tell me, well, Dr. Mitchell talking. And I sit down in front of my television and I watch that man. I listen to that man. The man done these boys on them. I tell you, he done them. He dirty the water.
And you know, it's the second time in 2 years that they're saying one thing in the budget statement, but the actual budget document has something totally different. And I'm referring here to what we spoke about earlier when Stan had called in relation to the issue of the numbers of workers that they say they're going to take on, but it's not reflected in the estimates. The estimates does not make provision for that. Yeah, and
that's
there's a
true.
process.
If
you have to make provision for that, there's a process you have to go through before you can establish these new positions. That process has not been gone through.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's either they're lying or they don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're lying because they have a record for that. They have a record for lying. You know what I mean? But shall I hear something too? That increase you see the men give there, that is a cover up because why they want more for themselves, you know. So what they try to do now, they try to give you a little money so they go hush up because I feel happy I get for myself. But them getting more at the pie. Watch, when this man them done in power, they made them well off, you know. 5 years they making. And when they're done with that 5 years, they well off. They may want nothing again. And Grenadian people are to, and what Dr. Mitchell real club them, you see numbers can't lie. They're trying to shade behind certain things, but he exposing them. That's why they don't want him around. That man is a brilliant man. Sheldon, that man is a brilliant man. I love this man. I tell you, my children could sit down and listen to this man and follow up this man. And that man setting a good example for them. I tell you, that man is a brilliant man. I listen to that man today. No, man, that man good. He good. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
And folks, I'm kind of I'm trying to understand and trying to wrap my mind around what point the Prime Minister was trying to make. That he was the one that stood up and moved the moment of silence for. How does he know that a member on the New National Party side was not about to do it? He just happened to do it first. But you wait on the adjournment or so and you say, well, okay, we need a moment of silence. Yeah? Or you do it at the beginning. Right? But no, they went into the budget and that sort of thing. But I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. I'm still trying to, but anyway, trying to understand that might be something. You can't understand things that you shouldn't understand. There's a caller. Good night.
Sheldon, good night.
Good night, my dear.
I listen at somebody now saying that people are them
One moment, there's something behind you that's repeating what I said before.
Turn off my
okay, yeah. So go ahead now, yeah.
Somebody repeating and said that people are them go get rich. They have a big bill to pay. They don't giving them the razor pay because they put in pay on them money, They had the whole of Grenada to pay. That's why they getting razor pay. Because every time the commitment meet, the month meet, they don't meet in the commitment. So that's why they getting the razor pay. They don't get the razor pay because the package go big. They have a lot of bill to pay. Who owns corporate, who owns the Grenada Bank, whosoever. All of them have debt to pay inside every side. I don't know for the Prime Minister, but all the others, they are debt to pay. So the packet don't getting big. Instead of getting big, they don't finish in pay. that money because they don't have to last for 5 years. So let us sit down there and Billy they will raise the pay every year and Billy they have anywhere to go. The debt must pay. The bank and them they owe them, they must pay. So they don't know where to go. They don't get in big. Pay the bill. Shalom, good night.
All right, my dear. And folks, you know, men at the Coast Guard base are still sleeping on the ground on mattress and so. The same people that you only give a $50 and then you tax it and then you give them a 25% on the thing and you tax it. These same individuals, these same officers at the Coast Guard base are the same ones you expect to go and march in the hot sun. I agree with them, they marching. We have a call online. Good night. Hello?
Hi, good night, Sheldon. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. I didn't want to disturb the program earlier because it was going so well, but I just wanted to put in a couple words before you closed off tonight.
You're disturbing. Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to say how impressed I was at Dr. Mitchell's delivery in Parliament today. I think, without even trying to sound political, I think we are so blessed as a nation to have such a high-quality politician speak with such depth. He was profound. And he spoke with such heart. You know, he sounded like somebody who genuinely cared about the people who we should care about in government, which are the less fortunate. And he was so, you could really admire him today, covering all the different areas, not leaving anything out, bringing clarity to the number of questions that people would have. And it was an outstanding delivery. And I really want to commend Dr. Mitchell. Despite all of the flaws of the previous NNP, I think they have done outstanding work for this country. No one can dispute that. And he looks so good. In my mind, he deserved another 23 years. To me, he's coming across leaps and bounds above some of the younger guys, to be honest. But it was just outstanding, and I feel really blessed that we have had his service for so many years. And I hope he decides to run again, actually. I think it would be nothing more than a great service to our country. So I wish him well. I wish the party well. And we were very, very impressed today. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you and good night.
All right. Thank you so very much. And let me see. I think we had another. Okay, we lost that one. 440-7377. Yes, we into our final few minutes. 440-7377. That is the number to call and get onto the inside. Yeah. I see who the police looking for there now. Like, I can't put up that one yet. Nice. Yeah. Let the police find them now. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon?
Yes, sir.
Good night. It seems as though you don't want to listen to me tonight or talk to me tonight.
That could never happen, partners.
You think it's not what I'm trying to get you?
That could never happen, partners.
Listen me. How I find you low, sir?
Oh, you're hearing me, Lo?
Yeah, I find so.
Let me see if I could fix you a little bit there. Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, listen.
Should be okay there.
I was listening. I was looking at the budget, the response today by Dr. Mitchell. Man, that's a genius. A real genius. Nobody can stop him. But I wanted to listen to hear if the Prime Minister had to make a response. He made any response?
Well, the Prime Minister did not speak except to complain. Yeah, because what was supposed to happen in their estimation, because they've been promoting since last night, yesterday evening, they started circulating flyers like it was some kind of boxing match between Dr. Mitchell and Deacon Mitchell. Yeah, so like it's a heavyweight matchup, and they're not heavyweight because.
Well, listen, let me stop.
Dr. Mitchell.
What heavyweight are you talking about?
No, I'm telling you what they say. I'm not telling you what I believe.
Listen, all right, listen to me. Let's forget that part. Let's forget it.
No.
Because I know you ain't no heavyweight than Dr. Mitchell. I'm sure you can that. That thing I could boast about.
No, Dr.
Over
Mitchell.
22 years now,
Dr.
I could say I know about that. So you ain't no heavyweight there.
No, but you see what I'm telling you.
One heavyweight I know, and it's Dr. Mitchell. The second point I wanted to make, I look at the funeral It was nice. It was moving. I saw the daughter spoke and so on. But you know, one thing that really cut me up was the homily by Dr. Gerard Paul. You listened it, good sir?
That pastor no easy, boy. Huh? That pastor, all I say, that pastor no easy.
And how you mean it no easy? That pastor is a priest.
I could go to church. I could go to church any day.
And I'll listen him. I'll shake, and then I was looking at some points, some how you call it, remarks on the thing that people making. Yeah, and it was good. But in any case, I enjoyed. But a last point I wanted to make is that what is the reason why they chose not to give $1 to the pensioners?
Well, they have to answer to the pensioners on that one.
Because it seems as though after the pensioners make all the contribution to the country, there's nobody right now. But in any case, still, and that is some of the points I want to make. And I'll listen tomorrow if God's will. And just keep up the good works, man.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Again,
Yeah. 440-7377. That's a 440-7377. That is the number here. We might be able to take one quick one. Yeah, we might be able to take one quick one. Yeah, so police officers used to train for, let me see what they said. Police officers used to train for 6 months. Now they're training for 3 to 4 weeks. Traffic wardens train for longer than that. Yeah, the traffic wardens who are out right now, they actually trained for longer than that. If I remember, they were 2 months? 6 weeks to 2 months or something like that, if I remember incorrectly. So now you're training police officers in the space of 3 to 4 weeks. I am concerned about not the ability of the various young people you've selected to become police officers, but to the amount of training they may be able to receive within that space of time, and how much you may be able to form them as police officers, and the necessity for further training down the line. If you have a new format that you're using, it's one thing. I have full confidence in the men and women who are conducting the training, various aspects of the training. But the time being allotted to them, I have a concern in relation to that. A serious concern in relation to that. And folks, I think that's about all the time we're going to have for tonight. I think that's about all the time we have for tonight. It has been wonderful being here. It's a rainy night, so sometimes you have to pitch. Right. That's all the time we have for tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And tomorrow night, we will definitely be having a program, God's willing, once we have enough, enough time and thing. Yeah. So tomorrow night, we definitely will be having a program. Let your friends, let your family know we will be on tomorrow night, God's willing. It's been a long day for me, so I need to get on home. All right. So in everything you say, everything you do it safe and secure. We'll be speaking to and with you. And definitely not about you. I am out.
So could someone try and tell me what is happening? Because yet them politicians keep wishing for the poor ones they are fighting, but not such a thing. Because every day when I make a pass by the shop, I could see the price keep going up on the poor ones stuff. And the wages, like it's mason men that believe, and like no one they can break it, so they condemn me. Because every day when I make a pass by the shop, I can see the price keep going up on the poor one's back. And the wages, like it's mason men that believe, and like no one they can break it, so they condemn it. I would not like to see it in the interest of the rich ones. Because there is the one I see keep on owning, while the poor ones keep on scrunting, suffering and dying. Because every day, when I make a pass by the shop, I could see the price keep going up on the poor ones' side. And the wages, like it's missing men that believe, and like no one they can break it, so they condemn me. Because every day, when I make a pass by the shop, I could see the price keep going up on the poor ones' side. And the wages, like it's missing men that believe, and like no one they can break it, so they condemn me.